Yeah, before I start this video, I wanted to shoot a shout out for my husband. Grandpa went to a thrift store yesterday and found all these jars, plus some more that didn't quite make the grade because of chips or whatnot. He got all these for $1. So that's what we're going to use to can for today. Okay, now that it's the next morning, what I want to go ahead and do is drain all the stock out of here. See, the meat is done. I'm going to go ahead and take the meat off of these bones as well, because we're going to use those in a later recipe as well. But really what I want to do right now is to keep the stock. We're going to use those to make the beans. Okay, now here we have everything separated. We have a little bit of broth left. We're definitely going to go ahead and use the ½ gallon in our recipes. I might, depending on how much I have left, I most likely will can some of these for later use. And here's the meat from the bones. We're going to go ahead and show you how to make things like carnitas. Burritos in a bowl. Hi, welcome back. What we're going to go ahead and do today is we're going to do a couple of different techniques of meals in jars. Not everything is being able to be frozen, especially whenever you only have 30 minutes for lunch. You just want to grab a jar, open it, and eat it, and go back to work. But we're going to do, the first recipe is going to be meatloaf in a jar. We're going to go ahead and make this as an Italian style with, you know, the regular herbs and spices and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this keto. Normally, meatloaf has like either oatmeal in it or breadcrumbs, panko, whatever you normally use. Being a diabetic, celiac diabetic, unfortunately cannot have that. So we're going to go ahead and use pork rinds. But let's go ahead and put everything together. This is going to be fairly quick. All of these recipes are going to be fairly quick. It's just a lot of prep work. Alright, so first things first, I've grabbed some random meat from my freezer. I've got some beef and some turkey. These need to come out of the freezer because we were gifted some pork that you saw me making stock with the cuttings, but we need to get some stuff out of the freezer. So let's go ahead and open up. Ew. That was gross. This is the turkey, y'all. I'm glad I'm making meatloaf out of this. That is disgusting. Yeah, no. No. Let's go ahead and add the beef. So much better. I got a little bit of cleanup too. Now this is beef fine pork cubes. It's still meatloaf. Meatloaf is any meat in loaf form. So we're going to go ahead and do everything by hand because I really don't want to bring out the big mixer. Not today. It's gloomy, it's icky outside, and I'm hoping that we get more rain. Now that's about I want to say 2.5 pounds. 2.5 pounds. I think this is going to make 3 pints. With everything that we're going to add in here, I'm hoping it's going to be a full 3 pints. But for this, we want to add 3 eggs. These are the chicken eggs we got from a friend. They're nice eggs. They crack nice. The shell is nice and thick. And I actually boiled about a dozen of these. I have never had a problem with these actually peeling. The whites, it just comes off the whites like, you know, butter. Slick, very slick. Let's clean this up because that's bugging me. Now here we're going to add our salt and pepper. I want to say about a teaspoon. Of each. And here's our Italian seasoning. We're going to add about a tablespoon for that. Now there's a whole bunch of different types of meatloafs. Our favorite in this house is actually Mexican meatloaf. That's where I add rice instead of breadcrumbs and kerneled corn, along with the seasonings like the garlic and the onion and things of that nature, along with taco seasoning. You put salsa on the top of it instead of ketchup. Turns out wonderful. Now we're going to go ahead and add our veggies. These will cook down inside the jar. Grandma needs to buy a new apron. So I'm going to do about half a cup each. I'm probably going to need a bigger bowl. Let's go get a bigger bowl. This is not going to work. Okay, bigger bowl. The biggest one I've got. The one that's smaller than this, I actually use to clean out things, and so I need to wash it. So this is the only other bigger bowl that I have left besides that one. So we're doing everything in this bowl. So you want to get in there, mix everything together. Now I put some onion in there. Let's go. I'm going to go ahead and put some celery in here as well. Don't tell Grandpa. He doesn't like celery. He doesn't like carrots. I'm going to put both in here. About equal amounts: onion, celery, and carrot. Now, I was gifted some squash. First squash of this summer. I have no idea what else to do with it, so I'm going to add it. Just add it all. Won't hurt. I'll add moisture to it. And this is about three yellow squash. Got up. This way, I don't have to worry about vegetables. I don't have to worry about meat. Meal in a jar. Maybe add a little bit more seasoning and salt with all these added vegetables if you think that it needs it. I think it needs it. So let's go ahead and add more. About another tablespoon of seasoning. Another tablespoon of salt. I'm not going to add more pepper. We are not. Pepper is not, even though it adds a little bit of spiciness to it, not a huge fan. Now, here we go with the breadcrumbs. For this, I'm going to add 2 cups. And in order to get these rinds like this, what I do is that I buy the jar, empty it out in a gallon bag, and use a rolling pin and smash all this, and then put it back in the jar. Now you can add other things like different types of flours. If you're just gluten-free, you can use rice flour, but you can, if you're also keto, you can add almond flour to this as well, because it will absorb the moisture. Because whenever you buy almond flour from the store, it's already dehydrated. Now, a little fact, Grandma has always been celiac. Celiac disease is an autoimmune disease. It is where the food that you eat causes your body to attack itself. Didn't find this out until I was 38 years old. Went on a gluten-free diet, started getting better. Problem is with gluten-free diets is that all you have is rice, potatoes, corn. Rice, potatoes, and corn. Those are the main ingredients in anything that's gluten-free. Take a look. If you are also autoimmune compromised, what will happen is if you eat this and this stuff for years, is that you will become diabetic, all because of the food. And so then you go to keto, which is a delicate balance between fats, proteins, and carbs. Keto, you have to watch your carb count, less than 30 grams a day. But it has actually helped. There is a more strict keto out there called A Way of Eating. I will go ahead and do a whole series on that later, because there are things that even in here I couldn't eat. I am not, this won't be an everyday thing. This will be like a treat, like once a week. I mainly eat salads for lunch, maybe with a little bit of chicken or turkey on top. But this will be for whenever we're at a salad and I have to go to the store, but I've got 30 minutes for lunch. So that's what this is going to be for. That is done. We're going to go ahead and put this into jars and process. 90 minutes for quarts, 75 for pints. No moisture. You don't add water. And we just process. Okay, you want to leave your 1-inch headspace. I'm going to clean all this up later. It doesn't have to be packed down perfect because it will cook and pack down itself. And this will be 2 servings actually. Of course, then there's people in my family that would just eat this all in one sitting. But this is 2 servings. Alright, so now that we have those all jarred up, ready to go, we're going to go ahead and do something with the meat that came off the bone. Now, it's going to be shredded. There's going to be a lot of it. And we're going to go ahead and add things to this for 2 different types of canning. First is going to be burritos in a jar. This recipe I got off the internet. It's not my original. And then we're going to go ahead and do carnita meat. That way you can go ahead and dump it out, strain it out, and use it for like tacos. So we have that. I am going to go ahead and add to this whole thing, not much, garlic, and more garlic. Make sure it's nice and mixed. You also want to add some salt to this. And that's all you want to do. You want to let this sit and marinate for about 10-15 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and mix up the taco seasoning for the burritos in the jar. Now this is going to be basic taco seasoning. I don't buy the stuff, I try not to buy the stuff at the store that's already pre-mixed because it has anti-caking agents and stuff in there. I really don't like those. I would rather grow my own, dehydrate, and make my own mixes. And if I can grow it, I will. If not, I'll buy it. Okay, so what we need is tablespoons, ground cumin, paprika, oregano, salt and pepper, garlic and onion powder. Now I don't have much left of the homegrown chili pepper. I am going to go ahead and add the rest of this to this. That should be enough. Yeah, I need to grind more. I've got more dehydrated in with my dehydrated stuff from last year. I just need to grind more stuff. So we're going to add all that. That's about a tablespoon. Recipe calls for a tablespoon and a half, but we're going to add paprika to this. Okay. One-quarter teaspoon of oregano. Quarter tablespoon of garlic powder. Onion powder. Onion powder. I may need to skip the onion powder today. Whoops. I need to get out my dehydrator. I reuse my spice jars. So I'll just add more garlic. Now paprika is a half a teaspoon. Salt and pepper are 1 tablespoon or teaspoon each. Ground cumin is 1.5 teaspoons. And that's taco seasoning. All we need to do is mix it up. And then put it in a jar because we're not going to need this much. I'm going to go ahead and get the jars out. I'm going to do 3 burritos in a jar, and then we're going to do 3 carnitas. So for this, because we're going to be putting so much stuff in it, we're not going to put the full half cup dried in here. We're going to half that to a quarter of a cup. Oops, sorry. So it'll be a quarter of a cup per pint. Half a cup if you're doing this in quarts. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to layer everything. Okay, so we have the beans. Same thing with the rice. We want 1/4 cup. Yes, you can can rice. You can can anything. A little bit of a mess. Okay. So we have pinto beans, we have rice. We want to add some green peppers to this. But first, meat. We're going to put meat in here. This is the pork. About a 1/2 cup. Then you want to take 1 teaspoon of the mix and add it to each jar. I've got green onion, green bell pepper, actually these are the shishitos. That would be better. I like that. Grandpa's gonna love this because, you know, Grandma can't eat rice. You can make these without rice. Just add more pinto beans. But I have the meatloaf, so I'm good. I'm going to add just a little bit of color to this. These are cut up the sweet bell peppers that you can get in the store that you use for dipping. Nice and cut up. Just get those out of the freezer. There we go. I feel like one of these is off. There we go. Try to get things even. Now, canned salsa. You want to put, I want to do 2 spoonfuls on each of these. Maybe a little bit more. Because what's going to happen is we're going to fill the rest of this with stock. Because the rice and the pinto beans need something to absorb. So let's go ahead and grab the stock that we just made. I'm going to use up whatever I couldn't fit in a jar first. And kind of nudge it down to the bottom. Eels in a jar were not meant to be pretty, but practical. Try to keep that 1 inch headspace. And try to get as many of the bubbles out as possible, because this is going to expand. Okay, let's clean these up and put them in the pots. And there you have burrito in a jar. All you have to do is, whenever you open this, if you can dump this on tortillas. You can eat it in a bowl, eat it out of the, or straight out of the jar. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is add sour cream, lettuce, cheese. Still working on trying to figure out how to can cheese. There is a way. That one is full, so we're going to keep these up here because we still have to do the carnitas. Now this recipe I found online. I've been making it for a while. I love it. It tastes just like Chipotle. So let's go ahead and do that. We already have salt in here. We want to add pepper. As much as you think you can stand. Now I just do this to taste. Okay, now it's asking for time, but I am out of time. My plant is still working on growing. I don't want to take anything out, so I'm going to use a little bit of tarragon. Who knows, I might like tarragon better. That's how you discover what you like, right? All right, now here's the trick to this. After you get all this mixed up, on the bottom of your jars, you're going to put some ingredients in. Let's go ahead and stick this over there. On the bottom of each of these jars, you want to put 2 juniper berries, and only 2. If you're not a big fan of juniper, you can add 1, but this is what makes that flavor. One bay leaf. Then you're going to add the meat and the stock. And that's it. So I did add garlic to this. The recipe does not have garlic, but I like garlic. And I needed to put garlic into with the burritos in a jar. So Works out perfectly. This actually may come out perfect. There may be a little bit more liquid in this one, but it looks like we have enough meat for 3 jars. Couldn't have been better than if I ever tried. Perfect. Get this out of the way. Clean these up. Usually whenever I make these, I raw pack it, which means it's not with cooked meat. It's with raw meat. But since we're using up the bones, we're going to go ahead and add the stock back to it, just so it can retain its moisture and cook properly. Just make sure you have all the bubbles out. We're going to go ahead and jar these up, get them processed. Like I said, 75 minutes per pint, and we'll be back. Alright, now that we have everything canned and sealed, this is the meatloaf. Doesn't look appetizing, but it will be. It has vegetables and the meat and stuff. This is one I wanted to show you. This is burrito in a jar. Okay, you've got the rice and the beans, all nice and absorbed all the water. And then you have your peppers and tomatoes and onions. Then you have your carnitas. So I've got 3 of those, 5 meatloaves, 3 burritos in a jar, and then I went ahead and canned up the rest of the stock that we had for later recipes. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful Easter, and see you next time.